Hey guys, welcome to another interesting podcast by Yes Users. Today we have an amazing personality with us who is on a mission to decarbonize the whole supply chain. He's a graduate from IIM. His name is Mr. Anand Pathak. So let's explore his journey with us. So Anand, welcome to our podcast.
Thanks, Avinash, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah. So tell us about FitSol. What inspired you to start this venture, and what is the story from inception till today?
Yeah, so I will start from my background
Yeah.
because that plays a role in this. So I'm from a middle class background. I'm basically from Jharkhand, Devgarh, and after my 10th, I moved to Delhi for further studies and everything. As you know, in most of the schools, after 10th, there's a limited opportunity inside the Jharkhand. So after moving here, definitely I learned lot of things because after 10 to move into Delhi and being on your own, you learn a lot of things in the life at an early stage. And one of the things that I learned over there was I got inspired by how I can improve the condition in lives of the people around me. And that was one of the inspiration. But after that, I prepared for IT. Unfortunately, I cannot
just like every science student, I would say.
साइंस स्टूडेंट हाँ
Right.
तो आईटी में हो नहीं पाया उतना अच्छा रैंक नहीं आए थे तो यहाँ इंद्रप्रस्थ यूनिवर्सिटी से आई डिड माई ग्रेजुएशन इंजीनियरिंग
Yeah.
इन मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग एंड आफ्टर दैट फिर से वही हुआ मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर्स जनरली इंजीनियरिंग में नहीं जाके सॉफ्टवेयर में चले जाते हैं
Yeah.
है ना क्योंकि प्लेसमेंट के लिए कंपनीज थर्ड ईयर में आ जाती है सॉफ्टवेयर वाली सो आई मूव इनटू सॉफ्टवेयर लाइन आफ्टर दैट आई वाज वर्किंग विद डेल सर्विसेज प्रायर इट वाज नोन एज पैरो सिस्टम्स एंड वहाँ पे आई वर्क फॉर देयर फॉर अराउंड 3.5 years बट generally IT companies, because these are so big companies, your role gets stagnant after some years. You don't find a purpose. One of the thing is most of the people move to on-site. But my goal was not to move on-site. It was to remain in India and do something here. So I wrote GMAT and CAT exam.
Yeah.
So fortunately I got into, I got 99.4 percentile and I got into one of the IIMs. So while doing my MBA from the IIM, I found few of the colleagues who were very entrepreneurial mindset, like me. We used to discuss on lot of ideas together, how we can improve the current. So the thing was from the childhood, I had this ki kahin pe kuch, if I'm seeing any gap, if I'm seeing any trouble anywhere, I think there's a scope. For example, I podcast में आपसे बोल रहा था क्या?
Yeah.
So मुझे लगता है कि there's a business involved in this.
Right.
So the same thing. So lot of ideas we used to.
Just for the record, we are not doing any business here.
No. So yes. So ऐसा लग रहा था कि बहुत कुछ दिखता था जहाँ solve करना चाहिए.
Yeah.
So anything to solve can be converted into a business. And but वही होता है MBA करने के बाद again liabilities आ जाती हैं.
Yeah.
Cost of MBA is very high.
Yeah.
And तो लगता है कुछ साल जॉब कर लें फिर शुरू करते हैं. And this all thing happened after marriage. फिर उसके बाद फिर मैरिज के बाद होते हैं कि नहीं कुछ साल और कर लेते हैं तो स्टेबल. But it used to keep me awake in the night because I had कि मुझे करना है. And उसके बाद बेटी हुई मेरी. And जब बेटी हुई तब मुझे लगा if you see the AQI level of NCR and particularly Greater Noida और गाजियाबाद के रीजन के साइड 1000+ हो रहा था उन दिनों में. And मुझे लगा कि I have to do something for my daughter. And it's not like if I stay here, maybe मतलब health will get impacted.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of moving down to my hometown. And वहाँ पे कुछ करते हैं. Just because better environment वहाँ होगा. And but again thought कि यहाँ पे it's about not only about my daughter, it's about lot of her generation. उनके लिए कुछ हमें करना चाहिए. Future generation के लिए. And that's how I started looking into ideas how I can improve environment or the future for my future generations. And so in TVS only, I was working with TVS that time. So we started working on green logistics. काफ़ी मैंने पिच किया green logistics पे and we started working on green logistics. Packaging division वहाँ था. So I tried to integrate both of them together, logistics and packaging, returnable packaging.
Right.
एक vertical start किया. And after that, then Motherson came into the picture. I resigned from TVS. I worked for
What is Motherson?
Motherson. It's a $20 billion organization right now.
Okay.
It's kind of top 10 tier 1 auto suppliers across the globe.
Okay.
It's a true India MNC, you can say.
Acha.
And they have also, when I was there, they have presence 280 plants across 50 countries, 48 to 50 countries. Now, though, I think in last 2 years, they've increased a lot. And so I was responsible to set up the same vertical over there for their 280 plants across 48 countries. So as a global for integrated packaging and logistics. And I did it there. And uske baad ye COP26 event hua. So COP, just to reiterate what is this COP event is, it's a climate event where lot of big organizations, even government, and ये सारे आते हैं, they come together and they take some initiatives and pledge कि कैसे वो carbon footprint कम करेंगे. So for example, India ने लिया हुआ है 2070 तक they will reduce their carbon footprint to some level जो काफी places ने किया हुआ है 2040, 2050 तक. So Motherson ने भी वहाँ pledge लिया as a company कि we will reduce some percentage of carbon emission by some year. And that was taken, and then we started looking for companies who can help us in doing that. So kind of, if you see, अगर हम इसको compare करें analogy with health, so if somebody comes to you and tell कि मुझे healthy होना है, in the sense fit होना है, so what you will do? First is you will definitely look for the tool to measure his complete health index, correct?
Yeah.
तो वो tool हमने देखना शुरू किया कि जो कि हमें measure कर पाए कितना carbon footprint हमारा है. So just to in shorten term, when you measure carbon footprint, it is generally divided into scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Scope 1, scope 2 होता है. Scope 1 is generally which is under the emission, which is under the control inside the organization, manufacturing organization. So any assets or anything that they own and they do the emissions, then it falls under scope 1. For example, an organization has a truck. They have bought a truck and they are putting diesel inside the truck. So that is scope 1 emission. Scope 2 is electricity that they buy from outside, and scope 3 is anything which is outside. So generally for manufacturing company, more than 90% is scope 3 emission. Generally, it is a trend. So scope 1, scope 2, we could find a lot of startups were there who were working in this field.
Right.
But scope 3 was completely ignored. One of the reasons was it was tough to measure because data is not easily available. And second is, it was not even made compulsion by most of the companies. They were telling, okay, scope 1, scope 2 measure karo and you give me the result. That's fine to start with.
Yeah.
So ye hua, but because we were into supply chain logistics, even in Motherson, my division was into that.
Yeah.
So I was looking to something for this, measure my scope 3 emission. I could not find anything in India. Outside India, there were very few limited and they were in early stage. It took a lot of time to even start conversing with them. So I thought there's a gap. So काफी दिन से सोच भी रहा था अपना शुरू करने का, sleepless night, and then I discussed with my wife and definitely she supported. अपने पेरेंट्स से बात किया, पापा से बोला कि ये, तो फिर लास्ट में वही पापा ने बोला यार देखो ये कंपेयर इट विथ एनी, उस समय काफ़ी हीट वेव चल रहे थे, कंपेयर विथ एनी लेबर्स और जो भी होता है वो अपना काम करने के लिए दे हैव टू गो आउट. मैंने बोला यार कितना ये हीट वेव के कारण मर रहे हैं ये लेबर्स, व्हाट वी कैन डू. तो बोले देखो यार उनको काम करना है, पेट के लिए वो लोग कुछ कर रहा है. सो आई डोंट रियलाइज बेसिक नीड्स क्या होती है लाइफ में, खाना, रोटी, कपड़ा, एंड वी हैव ए होम. सो लेट्स रिजाइन फ्रॉम द जॉब, मुझे रिजाइन करते हूँ मैं, स्टार्ट समथिंग, क्योंकि लाइबिलिटीज जो भी है वो होती रहेगी, कभी उसका कुछ नहीं है ना. अगर अभी लेकिन शुरू नहीं किया सो वी कैन नॉट स्टार्ट, मतलब बिकॉज इट वॉज लेट 30s. अगर अभी नहीं तो कभी नहीं वाला था. सो दिस इज मतलब ड्रीम आई हैव टू लिव, सो आई हैव टू डू इट. So how we resigned kiya, and then I started working towards this FITSOL, and FITSOL is about decarbonizing the complete supply chain.
Yeah.
That was the goal, to remove carbon footprint across the supply chain. With that goal we started working in this direction. और उसके बाद मैंने काफ़ी सारे अपने teammates को इकट्ठे किए as a co-founders also. They were also, because they are my friends, they are also on the similar age.
Yeah.
उनके लिए भी छोड़ना काफ़ी दिक्कत था, liabilities होती है इस एज पे जाके. बट मेरे से साहस लेके डेफिनेटली दे थॉट कि अगर पॉसिबल है ये कर रहा है तो वी कैन ऑल्सो डू इट. एंड एक अच्छा चीज़ है कि आई हैव केप्ट इंस्पायरिंग इन लास्ट 2 years मोस्ट ऑफ माई कलीग्स हु हैज नॉट इवन जॉइंड मी, आई हैव इंस्पायर्ड देम टू लीव द जॉब एंड स्टार्ट समथिंग, क्योंकि उनको करना था. तो एक्चुअली आई हैव गिवन देम काइंड ऑफ करेज हाउ टू स्टार्ट, कैसे करना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए, की library. So that is one satisfaction part of the entrepreneurship. If you can bring more entrepreneurs in the system.
Yeah.
So this is about what we
The inception story.
Uh-huh.
So, a lot of people who are in that, stage where they're thinking about starting a startup. So it's very hard to take the leap of faith, right? Especially agar wo, in their, like you, late 30s, when they have so much financial responsibilities with them. So what would be your advice to them? How can they, gather the courage?
So you're right question hai. So what we have, generally what I have told that my friends, have some side steady source of income if possible.
Right.
If wife is working very good, very well, so wife will support definitely. And second is definitely have some alternate source of income parallelly. Start working towards that. It can be in the some of consultancy. It can be definitely the organization should be aware if they are selling any of their bandwidth. But it can be also not. For example, in my case, I took a franchisee of 2 shops.
Okay.
मुझे लगा उन शॉप से मुझे कुछ स्टडी इनकम आ जाएगी. One was into the food sector and one was into the hair sector.
अच्छा.
है ना, तो उससे लगा मुझे वो हो जाएगा. एंड देन उसी से के बहाने मैंने फिर शुरू किया. डेफिनेटली वाइफ के सपोर्ट था. सो सेम थिंग टू देम. आई टोल्ड देम कि कुछ सेकेंडरी सोर्स ऑफ इनकम बनाओ. कुछ एक लेवल तक आ जाए बहुत अच्छी बात है. एंड और इफ यू हैव आइडिया एंड बैंडविड्थ, if you can find a co-founder who can implement your idea and bandwidth to start with parallelly, let them implement. You become as an investor for them. Definitely कोई भी कंपनी इन्वेस्टर बनने के लिए मना नहीं करती. There are lot of मतलब आप इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हो if you are not active. So invest in that company. Ask your co-founder to start working in that direction.
Right.
Give them direction, contact, source जो भी होता है. And if you see it has taken some steps, traction is there. You can get steady source of income. Resign from your job and फिर join करो. So जैसे even for example prior to my startup I was earning 3x or 4x of this. So I took 25% cut in the salary and then I started this startup. So वो तो मैंने बोला उनको कि you have to control that.
Yeah.
It's not कि जितना भी तुम earn करो मतलब इस level पे हमारे age पे उतना मिलेगा तुम्हें. So you have to limit your मतलब वो liabilities.
अपनी expenses को limit करना पड़ेगा.
वो तो that's what one of the advice I gave him. And definitely मैंने बोला आपको कुछ शुरू करना है, I can help you guys. They can join my company also. I will give them salary and I can also give them liberty to start their own in the parallel. That is what I have given them as a confidence. But उन्होंने अपने से ही शुरू किया कुछ लोगों ने तो.
चल. और अगर इस पे जो one of the necessary conditions people say about starting a startup is that you should have a co-founder. So in your case that wasn't the case. You started alone, but then people joined. So what are your 2 cents on this?
No, so actually I had co-founders.
अच्छा, starting आपके पास
so
3 लोग थे.
हाँ, so right now we are 4 co-founders.
Right.
One of them started with me. 2 others joined in the journey afterwards.
Okay. So अगर मान लीजिए कोई पर्सन है वो आपके पास आता है कहते हैं यार मेरे को co-founders नहीं मिल रहे तो मुझे करना चाहिए स्टार्टअप या नहीं करना चाहिए.
बड़ा टफ है तब. In that case definitely you need to give 100%.
Right.
Co-founders make your life easy because you cannot be masters of every trade. For example मेरे केस में मैं knowledge था मुझे supply chain, logistics, decarbonization, everything I had knowledge.
Yeah.
But I didn't have technology knowledge. So I have to find a co-founder who will be my CTO and who can help me in development of this technology.
Right.
So definitely वैसे ही हर जगह होता है. But there are some, so for example what I have seen, there are some solo founders. They are very very rare. Generally 10% of them are solo founders. Those are basically from guys from IIT, BITs to technology वाले. They make some tech products going out from the college. There is no liability. उस समय ज़्यादा नहीं होता है इंजीनियरिंग के समय. और वो टेक वाले founders बनते हैं and then they gradually make up team by taking investment from a big firms. उसके टीम बनाते हैं. But बड़ा रेयर होता है. Every big companies if you see they have a co-founder. Flipkart में co-founders थे, Zomato में co-founders थे.
Right.
हर जगह co-founders जरूरी है. Amazon is a single case जहाँ पे एक ही है जेफ बेजोस था.
I think but technically her wife was sometimes considered as a
definitely किसी ने किया होगा सब.
Right. But see, one of the bad things about our startup ecosystem that I notice is that companies which are bootstrapped, they don't get that much media attention. And this is something we are at least trying to change. And we are making sure that, bootstrap companies also come here. So what are your thoughts for FitSol? I think you are bootstrap so far?
Yeah, till now, so we have been silent. We have been bootstrapped. Sustainable growth is the
Right.
profitable, but now we have already got commitment from few of the funds because we want to expand globally now. We think 2 years. So the thing is, we didn't went for the fund from the start because we wanted to stabilize our business and see whether we are doing good or not. I think in the last 1.5, 2 years, we have made a very good product, stable product. Business is stable, profitable. Now we think we need fund because we want to scale very fast now.
Yeah.
So being bootstrapped, the advantage is you have control over your business. You decide the speed, how much you want to grow. But if you want to grow very, very fast, there you might need external support.
Right.
So good investor doesn't only bring money. They also bring network. They also bring expertise, how to grow. For example, right now, my plan is to set up office in Dubai and Singapore in next 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
So there we might need not only fund support, but also investor support. Okay, Dubai and Singapore might be a new reason. They might have some connections over there. So those kind of things. So yeah, so bootstrap definitely news में नहीं आते हैं until they make very big, like 500,000 crores, like Zerodha. बाद में बड़े हुए.
Yeah.
Then only they came into
Yeah,
the news.
Right.
Other, लेकिन ये startup अगर from first day if they have raised the fund, they are into the news.
Right.
Because
Even when they don't even have a product.
anyway, don't have a product. Yes.
Right. So tell us, can you share some of the milestone or achievement that Fitsol has so far achieved?
Yes. So we have been profitable last 2 years.
Okay.
We are making double-digit profit right now. Gross margin level, we are doing very good. We have grown to 30 members team. Now we have developed an in-house tech team, operation team. Now another achievement is just one of my co-founder went to the UAE, Dubai to set up the office over there.
Yeah.
Maybe we are looking to open that. And that is one of the milestones. We have been able to reduce already 1 million ton of CO2
Wow.
for our client, which is client has not even want that. They were not paying, but we have done that because we want to do it for the client. That is one of the exercise we have already done. So this is few of the achievement that we have already done.
Wow. Great achievements there. So मेरा सवाल ये था कि why UAE and Singapore and not to Europe and US?
So Europe and US, that is our eventual market. US is eventual market. Any SaaS product, if they have to grow fast, US is to a market. So that is my go-to market. But right now we think maybe we are not too ready. We have connections in Dubai and Singapore, and they are. So I think that okay, it's easy to go over there. We have some customer base over there, so we wanted to go and establish. And Dubai is a market which Dubai will lead you to open to Europe, African market is very easy for Dubai because being the middle of those. So I think that's why Dubai is a strategic location for us, cheaper compared to Europe and US where we have to set up cheap cost to set up offices over there.
Absolutely.
So that's where I think Dubai and Singapore this year, and we are open to US and UK market also.
Right.
Once we start getting query, maybe we'll go and open our offices over there.
Right. So, so right now, most of the clients that you have are in manufacturing space, right? So, like the manufacturing hub of the world is China, right? So what is the general trend a Chinese company has towards reducing emissions? What are your thoughts on that particular market?
So, China is one of the fastest growing emitter across the globe. US has been in the past, but China always overtaking. Yeah, I think overtake कर लिया है. The reason is because it's manufacturing hub. Western countries है वो अपना outsource कर देते हैं manufacturing, and wherever it's getting manufactured, उनका तो ज़्यादा ही होगा emission. So China, because of that. But Chinese government, they have taken a lot of steps.
Right.
So, for example, if you see EV cars, so Tesla went there and established the market, but now Chinese firms like BYD and other EV car manufacturers, they are one of the global biggest. They have all the resources to make electric cars.
Right.
I heard somewhere that more than 90% of minerals available to make these EV cars, they are available in China.
Absolutely.
So they have already taken advantage of that. They are working into some of the energy sources which will give energy, unlimited energy like sun, it's a kind of mini sun that they are trying to build in China. So China is already taking a lot of steps in there, but definitely they don't want to hamper their growth. They're telling growth will definitely happen. And because they are seeing a growth is happening in sustainability industry, so sustainability also they are taking a lot of steps. For example, I told you already, we are one of the biggest manufacturers and one of the biggest buyer also. They are buying, so their people are buying EV cars like anything.
So, China is a mystery to me. I think it's a mystery for a lot of companies. Just if you look at Western companies who go to China, majority of them fail, right? And I rarely meet an entrepreneur who has aspiration of expanding the business into China. Why is that?
Yes, so one of the reasons, so China is generally, of late I'm seeing a lot of Twitter and posts
Right.
where they are saying that let's go China and learn from them.
Right.
They're very, very advanced, definitely. Maybe the same way as you were telling, it's a mystery. So we don't know what will the rules, regulations. Although in India, a lot of imports were happening from China, but government has started putting some rules, regulations. So that's where I think now most of the Indian entrepreneurs, although they want to go and learn from China,
Right.
but right now they don't know about rules, regulations, maybe what will happen in the future.
There's a lot of fear, uncertainty.
Uncertain.
Fear of uncertainty is involved. Because I have never met even a single software entrepreneur who is saying like, यार मैं चाइना में बेचूंगा, कोई नहीं मिलता।
कोई ऐसा। और वो अपने सॉफ्टवेयर बना रहे हैं, चाइनीज लैंग्वेज बनाते हैं, इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में, टिकटॉक, दिस ऑल आर, मतलब
चाइना से ही आया हुआ है, राइट?
दे वेरी वेरी बिग कंपनीज जो निकल रहे हैं, $500 billion की उनकी फिलहाल वो है वैल्यूएशन, एंड दे आर आउट ऑफ चाइना. Lot of innovations are happening there. And that's why I think Indian entrepreneurs, because we are learning from them and we think that Westerns are good paymasters,
right?
Western countries. So we definitely, that's why we learn from China and we go and implement in US and Europe. That might be one of the reasons. We have nothing more to, maybe right now, there are very few companies who can go and sell in China because they will copy and they will implement the same thing as fast as possible.
Right. So what about the approach of companies like Western companies versus Indian companies? So on the issue of sustainability, who are more open to adopt sustainable technology? So
Western, definitely, they have already advanced again because they have been emitter till now. One of the biggest emitter. They have grown already. And so it's not like कि जो अभी emit कर रहे हैं for this year, that will all be taken. The environmental damage that has happened is because of last 50 years or 100 years of industrial revolution, and they have already done it. Western nations, and now it's their turn to definitely do something in this regard. So they have taken a lot of steps already. And one of the reason is a lot of people are seeing this as an opportunity to earn money. And they are win Western nation because they know they implement the rules and they also earn money because of this. For example, few of the companies that we are giving solution to, they are telling they are lagging behind in getting business now from Europe or US because they don't have this sustainability. They are not standing with other Western companies in terms of sustainability ratings. And so they are started giving preference to companies who have better sustainability ratings. And they are these European companies or US companies who have already taken a step. They are in advantage position, so they are getting business. So the thing is, few of the people are saying we are getting penalized because India is still to develop how we can be more sustainable. But anyway, I think for all to make the earth a better place, all of the nations should come together and work towards that direction. Maybe what has happened in the past has happened, but seeing this as an opportunity also to grow as a business, I think India is at very advantageous position right now. Export is growing from India. Western world and US is also dependent on exports from India nowadays. A lot of things are happening, and we think we can be at better positions if position ourselves as a sustainability player who thinks about sustainability, who talks about sustainability, and whose future is about sustainability. I think Indian government is already taking a lot of steps in that.
Wow. So moving on, my next question is, supply chain often prioritize efficiency, right? But sustainability is also important, right? So how do you strike the balance between efficiency and sustainability?
Yeah, that's, I think, the question that I wanted also. Because most of our customers, they are also not aware about this. Efficiency and sustainability goes hand in hand. To improve sustainability index of the company, you have to improve efficiency inside the company. So it's a parallel correlation, and it also parallelly correlation to cost also. So most of my customer doesn't know, they think that this is as a cost, extra burden for them, but this is not a cost. If you improve efficiency in a process, your cost will decrease, and parallelly your carbon footprint will decrease. So you are more sustainable. So these things are parallel in 99.99% of case. I will just give an example. For one of our customer, they used to transport 200 lights in a truck from point A to point B, 1,000-kilometer distance. We changed the packaging type to returnable and reusable packaging for the customer, which is sustainable in nature. And we have increased the utilization inside the truck to 400 lamps. So previously they used to do 100 trips in a month to transport, you can say from 200, you can say 2 lakh lamps. Now it has reduced to 50 trips, almost 50% reduction, because we have increased vehicle utilization. So with improving efficiency, vehicle utilization has increased and number of trips has decreased, which has reduced the cost for them, which has reduced the carbon footprint for them. And plus returnable packaging in itself is advances in terms of carbon footprint. Instead of using corrugated or wooden, which is not recycled in India to such an extent or kind of reused, it's better to use something which is reused for next 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, generally metal or SDP based packaging or textile based packaging. So we recommend that to our customer in most of the cases. So with efficiency, cost reduction comes, and also sustainability index improves for our customer in 99.99% of the cases. Few of the cases might be there which they will see as a kind of investment. For example, I was talking to one of my friend at a friend reunion yesterday. One of my friend came from Thailand. He's working there for last 15 years for one of the major MNC. They sell a product which inside a company, so major manufacturing companies, for them they sell a product which reduces electricity consumption by 20% year on year. So it might be an upfront cost for them, he's telling. But in 2 years, there is an ROI. So in 2 years, your electricity will be reduced and ROI is there. And after that, and parallelly, there is a carbon reduction also if you reduce electricity consumption. So those kind of products are available in the market, which improves efficiency, which improves your cost, and definitely sustainability.
Wow. So Anand, now is the rapid fire round time. Okay? So you have to answer the questions very quickly. They are fairly benign. Don't get scared.
Oh.
You are getting scared. Right. The first question is coffee or tea?
Black coffee.
Right. Me too. Second question, favorite book that shaped your personality?
Black coffee I've just started. But sorry,
Black coffee you have just started.
Because I'm trying to lose weight. I have just got, sugar को एकदम हटा दिया अपनी diet से.
Yeah, मैंने भी एक किया है. And we both need to lose weight. Sustainability तो बाद में लेंगे, health कर ले पहले. So now the second question is, favorite book that shaped your perspective?
Just Do It by Phil Knight or Nike Entrepreneurs.
Wow, that's a great book. Third question, early bird or night owl?
Night owl, kind of.
Yeah.
Generally, after relaxing in the day, in the night, I play chess. I like playing chess. So, raat mein, I play chess.
Good. Next question is, what is the best sustainability supply chain hack that you have discovered?
So one of the simplest thing is to reduce wastage anywhere. So the thing is, if you don't need packaging, don't keep packaging. Inside the truck, if you can just stuff product safely, how much you can, please stuff that. So this is one of the easiest that people doesn't implement that I have seen. And one of the thing is because there are different departments inside an organization. They all have their own goals and motive. They don't come together in most of the cases, and because in day-to-day life they are already stuck in a lot of the works, and they don't think strategically. They just try to solve problem as it comes. So one of the simplest hack is, if somebody is there who thinks strategically, who follows that step, and who just reduce the wastage. So that's one of the things.
Great advice. So last question is, if you could change one thing about logistics, what would it be?
So logistic, one of the thing is, it's still kind of not a glamorous sector. So we don't get good employees in that sense who want to come, good MBA graduates, good IT graduates or technology graduates. But because it's not in the limelight, and although it's 13% of India GDP, Globally, you see it's 10% of the GDP. It's very, very huge market, lot of scope.
Right.
So one thing that I would like to change is make it more glamorous for the youngsters. I think generally for the new generation, they want more glamorous roles and challenges. So I have to make it more glamorous for them so that they come and join this. This is what I would like to change.
Right.
And and that's why the gender ratio is also very skewed in logistics. If you see, very, very less females employees are there.
Wow, that's really true. So, as we are running out of time,
Mm.
I'll just ask last question from you. See, technology plays a very crucial role in modern supply chain,
Mhm.
right? What innovative technologies are on the horizon or trends that you see coming in?
So AI is going to play a very, very important role. It's a
Okay.
buzzword, although. AI is going to interrupt each and every part of the life. So I think logistics also a lot of AI innovation is required. Why? Because in logistics, lot of tasks are very, very repetitive in nature. You have to do same thing. You have to place vehicle from A to B daily. You have to do the packaging, same type of packaging. You have to kind of move part or source raw material from the same vendor year on year. So whenever the steps are repetitive in nature, there AI can play a very important role because AI knows what needs to be done. Steps are repetitive, they will get it done, and it will improve. For example, the quality inspection of the part. I'm seeing one of my customers struggling in that, and there's a rejection of 5 to 10% when it reaches the end vendor because quality inspection is done manually in most of the cases in the industry. If it can be done by AI, robotics, cameras, it will improve the quality inspection and it won't get rejected at night. So I think AI as a technology is going to play a very, very important role because as I told you, it's not glamorous industry. Most of the task is very, very repetitive in nature, 90% of the task.
Yeah.
And wherever the tasks are repetitive, it can be replaced easily by AI.
Wow. Great advice then. So, Anand, thanks a lot for coming on the podcast. It was really entertaining and enlightening.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
So, guys, that's a wrap on the Yes Users podcast. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. So, stay tuned for more interesting conversation with entrepreneurs, and don't forget to subscribe our channel and please share it with people you think would find this relevant.